Hello, welcome to Double Talk. I'm Mark Steffen.
I'm Michael Mandel. I should have worn a Columbus Day hat, but you know, we can't align ourselves with people who may have had bad reputations.
I have an infested blanket you could wear.
Oh, with scarlet fever? Is that what everybody got?
Smallpox.
Smallpox.
Yeah.
Well, if it's small, you know. It's okay.
Yeah, these are the smaller pox. You don't want the larger pox.
What am I, a chicken?
If you want to have pox.
I'm not afraid of pox.
Yeah, pox AEU.
No, chicken pox.
Yeah, so Monday is Columbus Day. Not everybody
This
celebrates.
is Columbus Day weekend, but you
It
know, if it weren't for Columbus Day or Columbus, somebody else would have discovered this place, I'm sure.
That big town.
And then it has to be Europe because they're the ones who had the big boats.
Well, Columbus actually didn't discover us. He rediscovered the West Indies.
He began the colonization of the Western Hemisphere.
Yeah, but he was long after a lot of people.
Right, but they never, that's before publicity, you know, things take, it's like this town. You know, until this town got enough people, nobody knew about it. Now, everybody knows about it within a 50-mile radius.
Yes. Well, you know, if it hadn't
Including
been,
El Paso.
If it hadn't been for Columbus, that big town in Ohio would have a different name.
That's true. It would be called Onondaga, something like that.
But,
or wouldn't it be a, first of all, Columbus brought things to the New World that we don't know when they would have gotten here if it weren't for the Europeans. For instance, the wheel.
The horse. Well, actually, the Spaniards got
the big boats with sails. Did they have boats with sails?
Yeah, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa
No, he
Maria.
had boats with sails, but the native North Americans and South Americans, they had boats with sails. They might have.
Like
some of them,
outrigger canoes and things.
I think didn't they say people from Chile got as far? It's not called Chile now, but got as far as back to Australia.
Well, they did the whole Kon-Tiki thing, you know, where Thor Heyerdahl
Well, yes,
went
but
on
he
the
tried
currents.
it. Yes, I actually read that book.
I did too.
Yeah,
And then he's had a sequel
last
called
week.
Raw.
Oh, where were we? Oh, we're here in Las Cruces,
So there's no school on Columbus Day, which is Monday.
and there's no school today and tomorrow. So, kids, do your homework.
3-day weekend.
Do your homework and study.
And no school zones to worry about on Monday.
Read Kon-Tiki.
Yeah, Kon-Tiki, yes. It's
Yes,
a good book.
You could say that some people might think we should get rid of anything that says Columbus.
Well, the American Indians agree with you
They
on
think that.
The Italians are hanging on desperately to Columbus, you know.
Although Columbus was not Italian, he was Italian.
He was.
Oh, but he was
Spain,
working for Spain.
Spain paid for the trip.
And he took off from Portugal.
Yeah.
I mean, they were so international. It was like the European Economic Community is today. Everybody worked together to find us here a place to live.
Yes. Well, you know, he was one of many who made their way over
Europe
here.
was getting kind of crowded anyway. You know, we needed some more land. Obviously, that's why everybody left, as well as the Inquisition was in Spain. So certain people really had to get out of Spain, and that kind of helped, gave them a place to go.
Right. Now, speaking of Spain and Spanish,
Are we speaking about that?
our local school board has decided that they're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance at their meetings in Spanish. Why is that?
Well, we speak both languages here. It's about 50-50 split in Las Cruces itself. Half the people, actually half the people, all the people speak English. Not all people, maybe 75%. There's people who speak only English, people who speak only Spanish, and there's many people who speak English and Spanish. And if we had more people that spoke English and Spanish, I would know Spanish.
You
I
took
hope.
You took Spanish in college. I took Spanish in college and high school.
I took it in high school. I passed what we have in New York is Regents, which gives you the crown of being able to speak Spanish. We had Spanish teachers who couldn't speak English, so we didn't know what we were talking about when we repeated things. So it's sort of like when you learn Hebrew. You can read the Hebrew, you have no idea what you're talking about.
But your pronunciation's
It
great.
has a lot of God in it. It says God a lot.
So I don't know. They don't teach in Spanish. You know, they teach in English mostly, unless you take a Spanish class. I don't understand why they want to do the pledge in Spanish instead of English. I just don't get it. They're not doing them both.
Because it
Just
doesn't
Spanish.
matter if you speak Spanish or English or Italian or what do they speak in England?
The King,
Americish?
the Queen's English.
The Queen's English. Everybody should, should you be required to do the Pledge of Allegiance?
No.
It's not like we're a cult.
It shouldn't be required. You're
Yes.
not required. You're not required to participate in the national anthem.
You're not. There's no reason. You don't have to. I mean, this is. Do you remember Woody Allen's film where he went to a Latin American country to try to overthrow bananas, and the guy who they fought for to win the presidency, he immediately declared, everybody is to change their underwear twice a day, and we will know that because everybody will be required to wear their underwear outside. When you have a dictator, they dictate what you do.
Yes.
And you don't have to do it unless, you live in a dictatorship, which we don't live in.
Not yet.
No.
Working on it.
Getting there.
So
I'll have to go on Facebook and protest that.
But we're pledging allegiance to the American flag, not the Mexican flag or the Spanish flag.
American flag, we're doing it in English. We're not pledging allegiance to the British flag. Doesn't matter what language you're saying something in. Don't people speak in tongues that were made up by Star Trek and Star Wars and
like Klingon? Yeah.
Klingon, yeah. So Pledge of Allegiance in Klingon. Some nerds are
They probably can do it.
Should we denigrate nerds? We're not denigrating.
We're
They
not
know an
denigrating.
extra language.
Yeah, they know an extra language that
Which
doesn't
we
exist.
don't even know. I think that's good. Well, if it weren't for Columbus discovering this hemisphere, we wouldn't be speaking English now.
He rediscovered it.
It wouldn't matter because we're actually speaking English because
the Mayflower got here first.
Yes, they populated this place. Oh, well, I don't know what we're talking about. What were we talking about? So pledging allegiance in Spanish, and the school board 4-0 approved it, although I thought there were 7 people on the school board.
Well,
they didn't understand what the thing was about because we didn't explain it in Klingon.
Maury Castro was not present to vote.
Castro, well, he would have said yes, I think.
But, so that's it. That's our public schools. If you want to attend the meetings, you have to do it in Spanish.
You know what they're going to say, of course. They're going to say, well, next thing, all our students are going to have to learn how to say it in Spanish. And that's what will be protested.
I'm sure it will.
If that comes to that. But I think it's equivocal. It's nice to do things for other people. What we're doing is excluding people. I'm looking at this. Oh, okay. I'm looking at the list. And so I'm going to hold back on what I'm going to say.
Well, next we want to talk about Vegas. I was in Vegas recently, Las Vegas, Nevada. And, people were saying, why didn't the maids and the housekeeping staff notice all these guns this guy had? Because he's in the room for several days.
Well, it doesn't matter.
The reason why? Because there's gun shows in Vegas almost every month. And so people buy guns, they take them to the room all the time. In fact, there's a gun show in Vegas this weekend.
And you said there was one last weekend. Vegas is a place that people
There's gun shows all the time.
Gambling, sign of power. Guns, sign of power. Shooting people, the ultimate sign of power, apparently. So
if you're insane.
Was he insane or just having a late middle life crisis? It sounds like a late middle life crisis. He says his middle life crisis didn't work. He got his girlfriend, sent his girlfriend
He's
away.
a rich guy. He had everything.
Right, and he was gambling high level stuff, and he was apparently making money at gambling.
Yeah, he's big in real estate.
Yes, and we know he and his mother, I believe.
Well, he always goes back to the mother.
It goes back to the mother. So there's some kind of problem there. So I think we have to ban white guys having guns. Would you agree with that, Mark?
White guys.
I'm just saying things, because we say
past a certain age,
when Muslims attack people, we say all Muslims shouldn't come into the country. So now a white guy attacked people. Do we have to send all the white guys out of the country?
Well,
unless
I'll get back to you.
Okay.
And,
Facebook me.
Okay. Now,
because that's where all our opinions really go.
Well,
veterans
know how to use guns because they go to war to use them.
Yeah.
And if they join the military, they know how to use guns.
That guy took shooting lessons. He went to shooting ranges. He did a lot.
And but veterans. New Mexico is like 4th in the nation in suicides by veterans.
And that's all by gun.
Not
mostly by gun.
Mostly, and it's mostly males too.
Yes, because guns are a male thing.
Pretty much. Well, there's less female veterans than male veterans.
Women like to take pills to commit suicide.
So they die pretty.
Yeah.
But in 2014, 91 veterans committed suicide in New Mexico alone.
They're looking toward Australia, who 20 years ago put incredible bans on weapons, and there has been less.
There's been no massacres
and probably less shootings. one thing that I didn't get much response from on Facebook was nobody could throw knives at one knife a second, right? Which is pretty much how many bullets he was shooting, about a bullet a second.
Well, you can only throw a knife so far.
Right,
accuracy.
And by the time he did it would just fall down.
You need a knife throwing machine.
But if you only have knives, not only that, you can't do one per second.
Well,
you have to have a lot of knives.
Michael, if knives are outlawed, only outlaws will have knives.
Or chefs.
Outlaw chefs.
Outlaw chefs. Chefs have a violent streak.
Yes.
Anyway.
Well, New Mexico.
What are we going to do about it? We're not going to politicize it. Why is it a political thing? Why do they say, oh, we don't want to politicize it? Of course, it doesn't have to, you don't have to use that term. We have to do something to stifle this tendency to, use guns.
Well, they keep saying, oh, now's not the time. It's still not even the time for Columbine.
Right.
So they certainly don't want to do it after this one.
The time is when the NRA stops funding certain
stops
politicians.
Politicians.
Yeah, the NRA can easily fund a local politician to the tune of 50 grand, and it doesn't hurt.
And then they get what they want.
And you, as a member of the NRA, have a right to have your gun, which hopefully you're not going to use on your kids, your family, or random strangers.
Now, we talked about veteran suicides in New Mexico being one of the top in the country.
You did say that, yes.
New Mexico was also worst in the country in child poverty.
Well,
there's more children per capita in poverty in New Mexico than any other state in the country. We passed Mississippi.
I was going to say, it's not really our fault. It's Mississippi and Alabama's fault because they didn't do as well as we did in making child poverty a big thing there.
Well, why do we have such child poverty in New Mexico?
Well, we have a lot of poor people here.
Well, yes. And they have too many, and they have children they can't afford to have.
Well, birth control would help.
But if you have a religion that prevents you from having that, then what are you going to do?
You don't have to change your religion to use birth control. You just have, and if you have a religion, it doesn't mean that it determines everything you do in your life. And you're not a slave to your religion because a religion is something you choose to do. I don't know if that's too preachy.
Well, most people are the religion their parents were, and they never give it a second thought.
I never gave mine a second thought, and neither did you, because
your
parents didn't have a religion, did they?
Oh, my mother tried to raise me Episcopalian.
Right, but you couldn't spell it, so you said, "Oh, can't we become a Jew?" Because it's really easy.
It's a three-letter word.
It's a three-letter word, and you say "chew."
Plus, there's all those great holidays.
That's true, and you get bar mitzvah. You get bar mitzvah presents.
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah. So no, I outgrew it. I decided at the 8th grade that I had outgrown the desperate need for religion.
Your mother gave you religion. Your dad, he didn't care, did he?
My dad was an agnostic.
Really?
Yes.
He believed in the god Gnostic?
Ag. And so
is that why you were an Aggie? You grew up an Aggie? Yes. You did. You went to Aggie College.
Gnostic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, hey, have you ever been to the Bosque down there by the river?
Do you mean our Bosque or
Bosque del Apache?
Yes, I was there. Actually, for a Jewish event.
Naturally.
Of course.
And, it's right now it's run by the state. It's a state park. But they're having a meeting there Sunday to determine if the Game and Fish Department will be taking it over. And if they do, then I think it'll be an improvement because as a state park, they charge admission. Game and Fish will not be charging. Game and Fish is better funded.
Ooh.
And because it's federal.
Oh, so then you could shoot fish and do that.
And
didn't SWEC open the Bosque del Apache? Wasn't it run by them the first couple of years?
They were instrumental in it being there.
The state decided to take it over so they'd have more money to run it.
Yeah, right.
But I understand it's got a lot of, marshy places that day.
Well, yes.
What?
Wetlands.
You're saying that is a good thing.
You're supposed. That's what they're trying to protect.
What?
Yeah. So let's take a break, and I'll have some water.
Thank God, I'm so tired.
And we'll be right back after these words.
I know. Look what time in the morning it is. 11:15.
11:15. Yes.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call Low Cost Airlines. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and with a best price guarantee. If you prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call now.
Friend, do you remember when it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank to expand a business, go on vacation, or buy a new car? Well, today, withdrawing your own cash has become a very risky business. According to the secret war, banks are now required to spy on us for the government and then report any suspicious or unusual behavior. I suggest you get the secret war free. Call the number on your screen or visit online.
This is a national healthcare alert from the Health Hotline. If you, a family member, or a loved one suffers from knee pain and have Medicare as your primary insurance, we've got great news. You could qualify for a pain-relieving knee brace at little or no cost to you. Get free delivery, and all the paperwork is handled by our accredited suppliers at no charge to you. We also have other pain-relieving braces available for shoulder, ankle, and your back. Call the number on your screen right now to immediately receive a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost.
We're back. This is Double Talk. Mark Steffen.
Michael Mandel, so good to see you, even though we can't.
Well,
But-
I can. We do have a device that allows us to
Well,
see
you have a device.
into people's living rooms.
And that's because you take drugs,
and
mostly LSD, and you can see everybody
It allows
through
you
the
to.
screen.
You can.
I know, but you didn't have any.
I wish some of these people put their pants on.
Only some, not all.
No, pretty much all.
Oh, okay. At least you're not prejudiced.
Hey, Sunday, which is tomorrow,
Let me check. Oh,
people running for city council in Las Cruces are having a forum downtown at the
how
plaza.
many people are going to be at
Well,
the
there's
forum?
there's
Three, right?
3 openings available: District 3, District 5,
Two?
and
No, I'm
6.
two,
I think
six. So it's a three-um, not a forum.
it's a 3-um.
That's okay.
It's a forum about a 3-um,
With a three-um.
and there's free food.
Really?
Yeah, but if you haven't registered you have to register online, and it's probably too late now to do that.
You could try.
You try it,
Or bring your own food.
or bring your own food. Sure.
Those things don't get that crowded. Where is it going to be? It's going to be on the
Downtown Plaza.
Downtown Plaza.
Right now.
So there's no way you can stop people from coming in the downtown plaza.
Right.
Because it's our plaza.
And
it's
food-
the city plaza. We paid for it.
That's right, and food trucks will be there
Oh, then you don't need food.
providing the free food.
Providing the free food.
Yes, the free food.
Really?
If you've been registered to receive it.
Oh, okay. Well, too late. That's why you should listen to this show the week before. Plan on it.
But the food is the least important part of this.
Maybe if you hear your counselors talk, you'll lose your appetite.
Right. So,
So-
like District 3, Olga Pedroza has chosen not to run
Frozen
again.
not to run. Yes. Seal Levantino is what? She's running.
Yes, she
We,
is.
we didn't write any of that down. But you should go there and find out.
Sure. A
See
couple
if
of
you
new
get free
people.
food. If you see somebody you know in the plaza, you can assume they signed up. Go to a food truck before they do and give them their name.
I don't know. It seems kind of dangerous to have a bunch of politicians up there and people have food that they could throw.
Right, but can you actually buy a whole tomato?
Yeah, I'd
Do you have
like
any
a
rotten
tomato.
tomatoes? Rotten tomatoes? Or coconut pies? Coconut pies are always good.
Well, pumpkin. It's pumpkin season.
Pumpkin's good.
Throw those.
Yes, free food. There
Right.
goes, we're worried about childhood poverty. Just go to a city council meeting and
Get
they
free
get
food.
to eat.
Now,
What else is going on?
Well,
Call center.
there's a call center coming to town.
TLC,
And,
which doesn't mean tender loving care. It's just the guy's initials,
Oh, well,
Yes.
they're taking over the Sitel call center building,
which is a big building.
which I don't know. If Sitel can't make it in Las Cruces, how can this new call center make it?
Because different people get different clients, and Sitel must
different
have lost
contracts?
the clients. The good thing about this area, speaking of doing the Pledge of Allegiance in Spanish, good thing about this area, 2 languages, a lot of bilingual people.
That's true. That
Some
comes,
people who even speak with forked tongue.
Yeah, so if it's a call center where people call in to you for assistance for Spanish, press 2. And the
Right.
people who can speak Spanish could then assist them.
Or people who speak both. Because
Yes.
some people like to use both languages in their conversations. I do.
It's called Spanglish.
Yes, I do. I only know 4 words in Spanish, yeah.
Well, you can't say those on the air.
Bailare.
And this new call center is going to be offering 350 jobs.
Which is pretty good. Didn't you once work at Sitel? Did you ever work
No.
at Sitel? You worked at some call center.
I've worked in call centers before
Right.
in the past, and in Los Angeles, phone sales a lot.
You know, I do the same thing at home. I wait for people to call me and ask me questions. Pay's not good.
But they're low-paying
No, I-
jobs.
Well,
But-
they're entry-level paying jobs.
Yes.
If you become a manager, you can make an extra $1
Yes.
an hour.
Yeah. So if it's your first job, out of school,
Even if you're in school, a lot of people who are in college need to pay off the small amount
Right.
of money that they owe because we are the least expensive school, pretty much state school in the country.
and a lot of these
But
call
still.
centers allow some people to work part-time.
Yes, 4 hours when you can make it between when your wife is home and the kids need taken care of, stuff like that.
Yeah. Now, also downtown, there's a lot of things going on this weekend.
What?
Well, at the
do I
Brannigan
have
at the
here?
Brannigan Cultural Center,
Yeah.
there's big doings down there.
Doings. I don't have doings down here for me. If you didn't sign up by Thursday for DACA, time's over. But we don't know where DACA's going anyway, so that's probably why you decided not to sign up for DACA. What do you got there? What happens in
And
Brannigan?
it's the 7th annual Cultural Bazaar at the Brannigan Cultural Center, right downtown on Main Street, next to the Museum of Modern Arts.
7th annual, which means it worked 6 times before, and they're going to keep it going.
So there's going to be exhibits and displays of from many lands.
Yes.
That's Saturday. That's today, going on right now.
Yeah.
And
As is all weekend, there's jazz in Mesilla.
Jazz and Mesilla all
And
weekend.
that is a big thing, which too bad I can't be here today for that.
Why not?
I'm not here.
Oh. Yeah, in Mesilla, on the plaza, as well as in many of the restaurants.
Usually,
There'll be jazz musicians. It's
think
free.
Paisano has people. I think probably St. Clair. Salute,
Yes,
probably.
St. Clair, maybe.
You know, it's hard to think about how many different little jazz groups we have. We do have a lot.
Palacios, maybe.
Don't know. I don't know. We didn't look that up. But there's a lot of things going on this weekend.
Saturday and Sunday, that's in Mesilla.
Yes.
Both
yes.
days.
And if it were going on yesterday, you could have gone there, which it was, but you can't because it's not yesterday.
Now,
Little Shop of Horrors.
No, before that.
Oh, what? Oh, the peanut butter. Is that what you want to talk about?
yes, sticks to the roof of your mouth. And
It sticks. It gives you a bad taste in your mouth sometimes because if you got caught getting a ticket at the university for not having a permit when you park there,
yeah,
instead of paying for your permit, you could bring the equivalent of 80 ounces of peanut butter. I don't know. That's probably a 12, 24-ounce jar.
yeah,
And you can pay it off that way. I don't know if it will be cheaper, but at least you're giving food for a needy cause.
And who gets that food?
People who need food, not the cops. They give it, it said in the article, let's say.
They give it to needy people, probably homeless people.
They give it to
homeless shelter?
the parking department.
And
It's the Eat for Pete campaign, and it goes
Pistol
to
Pete.
Eat for Pete.
Eat for Pete.
Yes, Pistol Pete, yes. But he's not allowed to have one of those things that makes it multiple shot pistol.
No, it's a 6-shooter.
Yes, a 6-shooter. And that's the Aggie cupboard.
Aggie cupboard.
We thought it was funny having peanut butter as your payoff, you know? Imagine when your loan shark comes over to you and you say, look, I don't have the money, but I got a cupboard full of peanut butter. And then they start calling you crunchy because they've just crunched your knees.
But don't get the cheap stuff. Jif, I don't know if it still does, it was hydrogenated.
Oh,
You don't want hydrogenated peanut butter.
You're not-
Get the good stuff.
Sure, because you're giving it away.
That's right.
If you follow Mark's ways, you'll end up Markish. Spending your time going to Nature's Grocers to make sure that each jar of pizza was tested with an SAT of peanut butter.
I read the labels on everything I buy, so I know what I'm eating.
Yet you were wrong about Chobani. It does not have cornstarch. Or my daughter said it had cornstarch. It doesn't have cornstarch.
Corn syrup.
No, it doesn't have
cornstarch.
cornstarch. No, it doesn't have corn syrup or cornstarch. Anyway.
Okay, but I don't eat Chobani.
Speaking of peanut butter.
Yes.
Jimmy Kimmel the other night had a dog on who had the longest tongue of any dog. It was 8.5 inches long, and they had it, no, it was on the news last night. That's what it was. Channel 3 or 4 News.
Sorry, I missed it.
And the tongue was, 8 inches. It was amazingly long. People got excited for some reason.
Well, listen, there's a few other things going on this weekend.
Yes, we'll get to that. We're done with peanut butter.
Little Shop of Horrors.
Isn't that what you used to be called? No.
Is a play. It's a musical.
Everybody knows a musical because
of the movie.
You go there and you talk during it and make funny jokes.
The Audrey Jr. talking plant, eating plant. And anyway, that opens this weekend at the Black Box Theater for the next 3 weekends downtown.
Yes,
that should be a fun
that's pretty
thing.
good. But also the what is it? The Hamlet,
Breakneck
Hamlet, and Breakneck Julius Caesar.
That's Sunday.
And that's supposed to be great. That is one guy who uses projections behind him and crazy things going on. He's the only guy. He changes costumes. He gets it over with in between an hour and a half.
But it's $15 for each show.
It's a riot, though.
Have you seen it?
No, but some people told me about it.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's going on. And
Steve Hansen is in the Cutter Gallery. Everybody likes Steve Hansen stuff.
Yes, that's today at
Cutter,
Glen Cutter,
between 1 and 5.
And we also want to mention the passing of Tom Petty,
which was announced prematurely on Facebook and all over, but he died within 11 hours of them announcing that he died.
I've seen Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers in concert. I had a backstage pass to that show.
So we got to go, and we got 30 seconds. Okay, so we'll just count that.
So we do have to go.
Let me see my heart rate.
But if you got time, stop by the Glen Cutters. See Stephen Hansen's work. It's very clever stuff.
If you've never seen
it's
Steve
very
Hansen's
whimsical
work, you're missing out on. That's not him. That's
and he's doing takeoffs on favorite artists. So anyway, that's all we have for this week's show.
See you in a week or two.
You're going to be off next week,
and you'll be here.
And I'll be here pulling double duty.
Special guest host.
I will. So thanks for joining us.
Ta-ta.